The Galactic Council was in chaos. Representatives of thousands of species from across the galaxy crowded into the central chamber, voices rising in panic. Holographic displays flickered with the latest reports and alarms echoed through the marble halls. Something unprecedented had happened. Earth had severed all communications. No signals, no messages, no answers. Diplomacy, once the foundation of interstellar order, had simply ended. Ambassadors looked at one another in disbelief. The humans had always been peculiar, unpredictable, but no one had imagined they could vanish from the galactic network entirely. Some whispered about rebellion, some about war, and a few more paranoid species feared the worst, that humanity was building a weapon capable of destroying worlds. In the center of it all, High Chancellor Vorin banged his gavel, attempting to bring order. "Calm yourselves," he said, though his voice trembled. "We do not yet know what Earth plans. Our intelligence reports suggest silence, nothing more, but silence was not reassuring." The hall buzzed with tension. Ambassadors argued over what to do. Should they launch a fleet to force a response? Should they declare humans a galactic threat? Or should they wait and hope the humans would rejoin diplomacy before it was too late? Every species had a different answer, but one thing was clear. The humans had broken the rules. Far from the council chambers on Earth, the human leadership gathered in a secure underground complex. The room was dimly lit, filled with large holographic maps of nearby star systems. President Alana Reyes stood at the center, her face calm but resolute. Around her, generals and scientists spoke quietly, planning and calculating with precision. "For decades," Alana began, "we've been observing the galaxy. Every council, every treaty, every negotiation has favored those with power, those with fleets, those with fear. We have followed the rules, sent envoys, traded knowledge, and yet, we are always underestimated." A young admiral, her uniform crisp and adorned with medals, nodded. "Madam President, the fleets are ready. Our colonies are fortified. Every orbital platform is equipped for defense and rapid response. The humans have adapted technologies faster than the aliens expect." Alana turned to her military advisors. "This is not war. This is preparation. We are leaving diplomacy behind, yes, but not aggression. We will respond if provoked. If anyone thinks they can intimidate us, they will see the true cost." Back at the Galactic Council, speculations ran wild. Spies reported that human systems were unusually quiet, but monitoring suggested immense activity. Ships were moving, colonies were being reinforced, and strange signals hinted at technologies no alien civilization had yet seen. Ambassador Galactic of the Vorthian Hive slammed his clawed hand on the table. "They are building something, a fleet, and we are blind to it." Another delegate, a long-limbed alien from the Zephyri sector, shook his head. "We do not know their intentions. Silence does not equal hostility." Yet, meanwhile, humans worked silently but efficiently. Factories churned out starships at unprecedented speeds. Engineers calibrated weapons and shields, while scientists ran simulations of every possible alien tactic. Every move was calculated to anticipate the Council's next steps. Despite their quiet approach, aliens attempted to interfere. A few scouts tried entering human space to gather intelligence. Each attempt ended with them mysteriously lost or captured. Never harmed, but always returned with nothing useful. Humans left no trace. Their presence was like a shadow, unseen but powerful. Weeks passed. The Galactic Council grew increasingly desperate. They sent a delegation of the most respected ambassadors to Earth, hoping that direct negotiation would break the silence. The delegation traveled aboard the Aurora, a sleek diplomatic vessel designed for first contact. When they arrived, they found Earth heavily defended. Massive orbital platforms circled the planet, armed with weapons designed for defense rather than attack. The delegation was met not with hostility, but with calculated courtesy. A human diplomat, Commander Elias Ward, greeted them. "Welcome to Earth," he said calmly. "We assume you come with questions about our recent decision to cease all diplomacy." The alien ambassadors were stunned. This calm, measured response was not what they expected. They had prepared for confrontation, for threats, for intimidation. Instead, humans were polite and firm. Alana Reyes appeared on the Council of Diplomats via hologram. "We will no longer participate in the galactic network in the way you expect. We have observed your councils, your negotiations, your wars of influence. and we have decided that humanity must chart its own course. You may not understand us, but you will respect our position." The delegation tried to press for explanations, but humans remained resolute. They would answer questions only within limits, revealing nothing about their fleets, their colonies, or their strategies. The alien diplomats left, baffled and uneasy. Back at the Galactic Council, reports of the delegation's failure sent shockwaves. Panic escalated. Some species began calling for preemptive action, while others argued for caution. The humans had done something unprecedented. They had claimed independence not through war, but through absolute self-determination. In the human complex, Alana and her advisors watched the Council's reaction with a mixture of satisfaction and calculation. "They still do not understand us," she said. "They see silence as defiance, but it is strategy. They believe they can predict us, control us. Let them continue believing that. It will make their next move easier for us to anticipate." In orbit above Earth, human ships moved like shadows, unseen but omnipresent. Every fleet was ready, every defense calculated, and every offensive simulation prepared. The humans had severed diplomacy, but in doing so, they had ensured that any potential threat would think twice before challenging them. On the Council, fear began to spread. Leaders who once laughed at humans now debated in hushed tones. "Have we underestimated them for centuries?" one whispered. "Are they truly as weak as we assumed?" The humans had sent no threats, made no demands, and yet the galaxy had changed. Silence, the humans' weapon of choice, had shifted the balance of power. Diplomacy had failed not because humans were aggressive, but because they had stepped beyond the rules, leaving aliens unsure of what humanity could or would do. As the weeks turned into months, minor skirmishes at the edge of human-controlled space tested the resolve of both sides. Every attempt by alien forces to provoke humans ended in controlled, precise retaliation. Not destructive, not chaotic, but enough to prove a point. Humanity was prepared, capable, and entirely unpredictable. The Galactic Council realized they had a problem. They could no longer ignore humanity. They could no longer assume that humans were a minor species to be manipulated or negotiated with. The humans had severed diplomacy not out of anger, not out of recklessness, but out of strategy. And now, every species in the galaxy had to rethink everything they believed about this small blue planet. On Earth, Alana watched the galaxy scramble from her command center. The humans had done what no other species could. They had taken control of their destiny, and they had done so quietly, calmly, and efficiently. The Council panicked, fleets moved, ambassadors argued, and yet humanity remained unshaken. "We are not done," she said to her team. "This is just the beginning. Let them watch. Let them prepare. Let them fear what they cannot understand." And as the stars around Earth shimmered, human fleets moved silently in the shadows, preparing for a future that the galaxy would never see coming. The first part ended not with war, but with anticipation. The humans had made their choice. Diplomacy was over. Silence was their statement. And the galaxy, for the first time in its history, feared what humans could do when they acted entirely on their own terms. Months passed since the Galactic Council first realized that Earth had abandoned diplomacy. Rumors of human activity spread like wildfire across the galaxy. Some claimed humans were building unimaginable weapons. Others said they had fleets beyond imagination, moving silently through space. The truth was far simpler. Humans had prepared for anything, and their preparation alone had begun to shift the balance of power. On the edge of contested space, alien fleets waited. The largest empires had sent their champions, powerful warships bristling with weapons ready to strike at a moment's notice. They assumed humans were weak, slow to respond, and predictable. They were wrong. High Chancellor Vorin stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Ecliptor. He watched the distant blips on his sensor array, unable to believe what he saw. A fleet unlike any other appeared. Humans moving in perfect formation, their ships dark and imposing, yet humming with silent energy. "They can't be that large," Vorin whispered, his voice trembling. "We would have detected them before." His advisors scrambled to calculate the fleet's size. Each scan revealed more ships, more firepower, more defenses than any intelligence report had predicted. Panic spread among the ranks. "They are prepared," one officer said quietly. "This is no bluff." On Earth, President Alana Reyes observed the Council's panic from her command center. The human fleet was ready, but no human ship had fired a weapon. This was not aggression. It was demonstration. The galaxy had underestimated humanity for too long, and now they were about to learn exactly what humans could do. In a nearby system, a small alien scouting vessel attempted to approach the human fleet. It carried an envoy sent to negotiate, to demand answers, to threaten. The vessel entered the perimeter and found themselves immediately surrounded, not attacked but contained. Automated human drones and defense platforms moved with silent precision, creating a cage that could have destroyed the ship instantly. Aboard the human command vessel, Commander Elias Ward monitored the situation. "Open a channel," he said. "Let them see us. Make it clear. Any aggression will have consequences." The alien envoy hesitated, their translator scrambling to interpret the human words. A calm, measured voice came through the speakers. "You are safe as long as you do not attempt violence. Any provocation will be met with overwhelming response. We are not here to negotiate. We are here to ensure peace on our terms." Fear spread through the envoy's crew. They had expected a fight or at least a show of weakness. Instead, they saw control, calm, and an unspoken promise that humans would act decisively if needed. Back at the Galactic Council, news of the encounter reached the chamber. The representatives were stunned. The humans had not attacked. They had not sent threats, and yet their presence alone had stopped an alien fleet from advancing. Voran's usual confidence had evaporated. "They do not speak," he admitted to his advisors. "Yet their silence has more power than any weapon we possess." Across the galaxy, other species scrambled to understand what was happening. Scientists and strategists analyzed human fleets, studying their speed, formations, and technology. Every simulation suggested that humans were not only prepared for battle, they were ready to reshape the galaxy's balance without firing a single shot. On Earth, Alana smiled faintly. Humans had anticipated every move, every reaction. They had anticipated fear, panic, and arrogance, and now they were watching the galaxy flail, unsure how to respond to a species they had long considered inferior. A message arrived from the Council, delivered through a neutral channel. It was careful, formal, and trembling with uncertainty. "Earth, we request an explanation. Your silence has disrupted the balance of the galaxy. What is your purpose?" Alana leaned forward, her eyes calm. "Our purpose," she said slowly, "is simple. We exist, we protect our people. We ensure that humanity is never underestimated again. You have built your councils, your fleets, and your rules for centuries. We have chosen to build ours. You may observe, you may study, but you will not control us. That is all you need to know." The council representatives received the message and fell silent. Some realized, with growing horror, that the humans had already achieved what no other species could: complete strategic independence, backed by unmatched preparation and intelligence. In the weeks that followed, humans demonstrated their capabilities quietly but decisively. Minor incursions at the edge of human space were met with precise maneuvers and displays of firepower. No worlds were destroyed, no lives were lost, but every alien who saw the demonstrations understood the message clearly. Humanity could defend itself against any force, and it would do so without hesitation. Alien warships began retreating from contested zones. Some species sought peace, sending careful, cautious envoys to open channels. Others plotted, hoping to strike before humans could react. But humans had anticipated this as well. Every step, every possible attack had been simulated. And when aggression occurred, human responses were swift, overwhelming, and precise, leaving enemies defeated without chaos or unnecessary destruction. At the Council, debates grew frantic. "We underestimated them for centuries," Voran admitted. "We treated them as weak, as naive. We gave them no credit for their intelligence, their strategy, their will. Now we see the truth." Humans, meanwhile, remained calm. They did not gloat. They did not strike first. They simply existed as a force the galaxy could not ignore. Their fleets moved like shadows through contested systems, their presence enough to enforce a new reality. Humans were no longer negotiable, no longer underestimated, and no longer bound by alien rules. Ambassadors from other species began to reconsider their positions. Some offered treaties on human terms. Others watched quietly, waiting for signs of weakness that never came. Every calculation, every prediction, every plan that had once relied on human compliance now failed. The galaxy was learning painfully and rapidly that humanity was not a species to be controlled. In the Human Command Center, Alana and her team watched reports from across the galaxy. Every mission, every demonstration, every subtle display of strength confirmed what they already knew. Humans had succeeded in rewriting the rules. The galaxy had been forced to acknowledge their independence, intelligence, and power without a single human casualty beyond necessity. A young strategist approached Alana. "Madam President, they are finally beginning to understand." The Council. They are panicked. They did not anticipate this. Humanity has become the standard they cannot ignore. Alana nodded. They are learning. That is enough. Our role is not to punish them, not to conquer them. It is to ensure that humans are never underestimated again. That knowledge alone will keep us safe. The galaxy adjusted. Alien fleets moved cautiously. Treaties were rewritten and diplomats approached with newfound respect. Humanity had not threatened or destroyed. They had not demanded tribute or submission. They had done something far more impressive. They had forced the galaxy to recognize that humans acted on their own terms, with intelligence, strategy, and foresight far beyond what any species expected. In orbit above Earth, the human fleets moved silently. Ships glinted under the light of distant stars, their formations perfect, their readiness unquestioned. Every soldier, every pilot, every technician knew their role. Humanity's strength was not only in technology or firepower, but in the unity of purpose and clarity of vision. High Chancellor Voran, back in his chamber, addressed the council in somber tones. For centuries we believed ourselves the masters of galactic order. Today we have learned our error. Humans do not play by our rules, they do not follow our counsels, and we must adapt or fail. On Earth, Alana watched these developments unfold. Humanity had acted quietly, patiently, and decisively. No one in the galaxy could claim victory over humans because the humans had never sought domination. They had sought only one thing, to ensure their survival and independence. And as the stars shone over Earth, humans prepared for the future. They did not boast. They did not threaten. They simply existed, ready, capable, and entirely unpredictable. The galaxy had been forced to acknowledge a new reality. Humans were not to be underestimated. Humanity had reclaimed its place among the stars, not through aggression but through preparation, intelligence, and the courage to act when no one else would. The council panicked. Fleets hesitated and diplomats recalculated. The humans had shown that the rules of the galaxy had changed forever. And in that calm, steady presence, the message was clear. Humanity was here to stay, and the galaxy would never look at them the same way again. The stars above Earth continued to gleam. Human fleets moved silently, humans trained relentlessly, and their minds remained sharper than any alien weapon. The galaxy had feared humanity, and now it had seen what fear truly meant. Silence had become humanity's loudest statement, and it resonated across every system, every council chamber, and every mind that had once doubted the small, blue planet that refused to bow. Humanity had won the first battle without a single shot fired, and the galaxy would remember it forever.